Hey, and welcome to NUFC Talk. This is a podcast by myself and Jan, two lifelong Newcastle supporters. So thank you for downloading, subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. And Jan, how are you doing, man?
Good. Yes, very well. How are you?
Very excited to be doing this podcast. So if you maybe followed us from our other podcast, so we run a podcast which has been going for some time now called Dad FC Football Pod.
Yeah. And
to make sure we didn't bore all our friends on pure NUFC talk, we decided to start this side project and this YouTube channel, these pages that's going to be popping up on social media to talk some more Newcastle. If you want to get us on Twitter, that's probably the one we're talking most Newcastle about, what would you say?
Yeah, so I'm Yanis, NUFC.
Took a while to come with that name.
I did.
And I'm Glenn _NUFC. You can probably guess where them came from, our names plus NUFC. But yeah, we're really excited to get our thoughts across, to hear from everybody. We're going to be putting this onto YouTube, on the podcast platforms over the next few weeks. So yeah, feel free to drop us your thoughts. I'm sure you will, Newcastle supporters, because if you're anything like me and Jan, we've always got something to say about Newcastle. So we're looking forward to interacting with you over the next couple of weeks, months, and yeah, see where it goes from there.
I think it was easy to do the just that FC podcast and talk all football when Newcastle were just awful, because there was never anything I really wanted to talk about except how much I hated Bruce at the time.
Yeah.
But now it feels like I always want to talk Newcastle on the podcast, and then I'm conscious of the fact that it's becoming a Newcastle podcast so that's where the spin-off has come from there.
Yeah, because I don't know, maybe I was when Newcastle were bad, I had to stop myself from ranting Newcastle were bad, and then when Newcastle were good, I had to stop myself ranting Newcastle were good. So
yeah.
So Jan's like, maybe we should just do a Newcastle pod, and before you finish the sentence, I'm like, yes, let's do it. So yeah, man.
Let's get into the weekend.
Yeah. So what did you think? What was your prediction of the game beforehand? What were you looking for?
I think actually I don't know why I was worried about this. Is it maybe it's the London away thing? I don't know. Yeah. I'm not sure why, but I was a little bit more worried about this game in terms of versus how it actually transpired, how it came out. So I was a little bit worried. I think the sort of...
If you got offered a point before the game kicked off, would you have said yes?
No, I still would have tried to gamble for the win, I think, because I think it was that 3 points. I now think we're safe.
You're that confident?
Yeah, I'm confident. Because I now think Brentford, if Brentford picked up a win in that, it would have given them such a confidence boost against a...
Yeah.
But it brings them right into the mix, doesn't it, really?
The relegation scrap's getting more and more interesting by the week, because more and more teams are getting dragged into it. Because a few weeks ago, it was like a closed-off 4-team mini-league.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Everton, Leeds are getting dragged into it. Brentford's getting dragged into it. So
Newcastle have been obviously catalyst for that, I think, in a sense that they have been the
just smash everyone now.
We've been the form team for not the form team, but certainly a form team for 6-7 weeks now. But in actual fact, why that term's relegation scrap, it's the form of was Norwich picking up points, Watford picking up points, Burnley's obviously playing games.
Yeah,
that's been
actually just kicking the ball about, and not just on the training ground.
So because of that, those are the teams that have kept Everton, like Brentford and Leeds, need to be banging it now. So that. You're right though. That is actually it's actually really exciting when there's like 7 teams in it. That's when it's good.
Yeah,
except if you're in it.
Yeah, except if you're in it. I'm still because I think I've been hurt so many times off Newcastle over the years. I'm not 100% like we're cool. I'm pretty confident, but I still like to see us getting to that 30 mark over this next cluster of games, which is coming up. Yeah. But anyway, before we talk what's coming up, let's talk about Brentford.
Yeah.
So the game started. I thought we started off all right. Because a lot of people said the game changed when the red card happened, which obviously red cards do change games. But prior to that, we started off pretty strong.
I thought we played well from basic kickoff, really.
Yeah.
Forced a couple of corners, I think, early on, didn't we? And I think overall, I'm happy that the Sellers isn't back in the side still. I think that's still the right call. Sean and Dan Burns centre back partnerships since the Sellers obviously had he had illness, was he sick or I can't remember, but
there was an illness where he didn't play for and then came back on the bench, didn't he?
Yeah.
So.
And I think that was the right call. But I thought early on, good shape. The burn target, like left hand side, is just like looks so much more comfortable.
Yeah.
Than like it basically ever has done in terms of just. I don't just mean defensively, because under Rafa we were drilled to like an inch of our lives, and we looked like a really well marshalled defensive unit that didn't look. No, didn't. It looked like it loved not conceding, but it was there deep and all that sort of stuff. But now it looks like a comfortable left hand side, like. When
it's a left hand side where I'd always be scared would concede down, or that was one of our weaknesses, or basically any of the flanks and down the middle as well. Whereas now, yeah, you're right, the left hand side, because when we got Target, that signing came from nowhere. He was ever present for Villa the season before, was their player of the season, and he's just one of them consistent 7, 8 out of 10 players week in, week out, where he's maybe not going to grab the headlines, but he's going to do the job, and he's such a reliable player.
He's in my FPL team for quite a chunk of last season, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I was absolutely delighted that we signed him. I know that Newcastle was like wider, will want to go to bigger, better things, but if you were to get him 15 million, like, board, solid, absolutely solid. But early doors I thought we were good. Really good shape early on. Red card. Obviously that's.
See the red card. This is where I got a bit frustrated, because for starters, Mike Dean giving us a free kick to Brentford. I don't know if you thought that Mighty Target tackled De Silva's boot with his shin or what, but he gave it to Brentford. Paul Merson's shouting it's not a red card.
That was the most what is he even looking at?
I don't know.
Does he think Target's been sent off?
Yeah, maybe. And then for a lot of, again, I'm not on here to call other pundits, and I never would name anyone else, but there's been other pundits and other places where I've watched where they said the red card changed the game, and I know it was early on, but from the start of the game, I wasn't worried, so I don't know how they can say that was the turning point. Do you know what I mean? We looked
one team's unbeaten in 7, and the other team's got going into that game. We were unbeaten in 6, and they had 1 point in 7.
Yeah.
So they've had 1 draw and 5 defeats in 6, and we're unbeaten in 6. So in form, it was only really going one way that game.
Yeah.
But obviously the red card helps to free up so much space. But it's definitely a red card. I know what he's trying to do. He's obviously trying to just get his body in, win the ball, take the foul, and then you just get on the pitch. But he's jumped 4 foot away.
It's just a mistake for him. It's not malicious. I don't think he's definitely not going to hurt anyone.
But it's endangering a point in it, so it has to be red.
Red card's not even a conversation.
And I think from there was so much space in terms of Fraser got so much space wide left, and he didn't really have to, from a Brentford point of view, he didn't really have to do that much in terms of getting the ball. Yes, he was beating his man the odd time and getting the ball in the box, but he just seemed to have so much space where it.
Because over the last couple of games, anyone can see, Fraser's been, it's night and day his performance right now, and I love Fraser because you can see when he's getting interviewed, he almost clicks into his media training, but he's almost said too much, the backtrack, the new gaffer and Steve Bruce. And
I don't want to throw the old regime under the bus, but we're going to anyway.
Yeah, we actually come to training now, and before we came to training to have breakfast. And
he was waxing lyrical, wasn't he? He was talking about after the game. He was talking about motivational things on the wall, changing sort of the philosophy. Everyone's excited playing attacking football. He's changed literally everything.
There's that picture going on Twitter where going on motivational stuff on the wall, and someone had, I'm paraphrasing, had edited one of the posts on the wall to say, "Ignore everything, forget everything Cabbage Head said," or something like that.
So harsh, but he's doing a good job, West Brom, though.
But what I was going to say with Fraser there, I felt like this was a game where he was almost completing that role as a wide man, because prior to that he was working really hard. Yeah. He was chasing down balls, whereas this he seemed to find his cross.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I think if obviously the sending off would have helped everybody in the sense that there's less players. But if anybody got really helped by it, it was the fact that Fraser, do you know the class I think like stop the cross?
Yeah.
Then no one had really attempted to ever stop the cross, and he had a field there, didn't he? He played really well, like Fraser, on the left hand, being on the left hand side as well. Like that was sort of instead of being the right hand side, he sort of If it was one sort of jump ahead, but if it was one downside, it was a bit of a double edged sword. I think it was Wood's best game. I think for Newcastle. I think.
Okay.
But he had these biggest chances that he missed at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he's the header early on when I think Fraser put the ball in actually, and he just kind of gets ahead of it or like over it or something. You
can see what he's trying to do because strikers are always taught like you head it down, and he's like, don't mess us up, head of the ground. But he's headed it like too much into the ground and just took the.
He's got to go back across the keeper for that one.
Yeah,
that first one.
So Wood, I think people are giving him stick, but for Newcastle supporters who watch all the games and. Yeah. They can see Wood's doing a job up top because he's been that big nuisance up top. So there's one player marking him, there's one player keeping an eye on him because he's such a big unit, and he's freeing up spaces everywhere else, especially for like the way we've got them dark wingers work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's winning balls. He's working hard. I think he's doing if he's not scoring goals, he's got to add something else to the team. I think he is adding to the team. Do I think you'd start if Carl Wilson's fit? Absolutely not.
No.
But in terms of a decent Premier League striker, I genuinely just think he needs a goal. Like, I honestly think he needs a goal.
Yeah, he'll end up. Look, Newcastle stay up this year. We're going to spend some more money. He'll be a squad striker, come in, play cup games, and if you need a second man, a big man at top, he'll play that role. He's not going to be the main man. He knows that. So I suppose he's doing a job for what he needs to right now, and bringing a lot of other people in and causing problems up top.
I guess moving into.
But anyway, let's talk about Fraser cross, the big Joe Linton, that header.
Yeah.
The best part was, and you can see Joe Linton loves the fans as much as that we're loving him. Is like he turns on, ignores like all the players that wants to celebrate, runs the length of the pitch to the Toon fans, and that was class.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
Yeah,
good header. Put a bit of wing play as well from Fraser again. Nice little sort of pop it inside, got it back, whipped in the ball, back stick. Proper header as well. Cross in front of his man. Yeah, brilliant header. I think it's. The mind boggles about Joe Linton. I cannot understand.
You can tell because you almost lost your words then. You thought because you're like we're taking yourself back to Joe Linton scoring the header, and you're like, you can come back with the pod man. Come back.
I just think with Joe Linton, like I'll be honest, like, I was sort of. I never hammered him personally. Never thought he was I never bought into the lazy thing. I didn't buy into that. There was a lot of Newcastle fans on Twitter said he was lazy. I didn't buy into that. He's got a lethargic sort of stride, same as sort of Joe Willock has. Yeah. A long sort of stride, like loping almost. Whereas like Ryan Fraser looks like he's rapid because he's going like
he looks frantic, doesn't he?
He's going to go like tiny legs. Whereas like Willock and Joe Linton have this sort of long stride. I never bought into the fact he was lazy, but I did question. Basically, I questioned his pace, his first touch, his decision making, his ability to see a pass, his way to pass, his finishing, his movement in the box. I basically said, "How is this guy even like a football player?" And then suddenly, and I wasn't doing that like that. I wanted to hate on Joe Linton. It was just because what I'd seen, I couldn't understand. I couldn't see. And there were some fans that I seen, "Oh, he's going to come good." Mark my words. And I was like, "Well, you're seeing something I am not seeing." But I couldn't see it. I thought he looked. I couldn't see how he play wide or play as a 10 or play up top, and then suddenly under Howe playing this sort of number 8 role.
I suppose we've got to thank Kieran Clark for that, haven't we?
Getting sent off.
Because
we were there, weren't we?
Yeah. So when he got sent off and Clark got sent off, so he got pushed back.
Norwich,
yeah. At St James's, yeah. So he got pushed back in the midfield role, and was for Newcastle fans, you like yourself, that's where he found himself. But
the difference of him now, his ability to break play up, he's carrying the ball after breaking play up. He doesn't just he rarely passes the ball and doesn't then move on forward. Energy, work rate, like he must be a nightmare to play against because he's massive, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's actually such a beast, like.
Do you see that there's a meme going around saying the biggest question this year is in football is who's going to finish number 2 in the Ballon d'Or to Joe Linton.
Honestly, I think the mind does boggle of the change in somebody. I've never seen a player like look so out of sorts and then become. You've seen players look amazing and then just like fall face of the earth and never play football again.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never seen a player look so out of sorts and then just suddenly become like basic Yaya Toure. So yeah, I think those. Yeah, I was absolutely delighted that he scored. To be fair, because he's grafted so much like last few. He's been instrumental in the change in Newcastle. Like,
oh, huge. Him. And I was going to ask you, I've got my notes here. Fraser or Joe Linton? Which one's made the biggest changes, you reckon?
Got to see Joe Linton because Fraser has this in his locker. He's just recapturing form from Bournemouth.
Bournemouth.
Yeah, he's recapturing the form that kind of Wilson Fraser connection where I think it was 14 goals or something one season. I think they combined on. So he's always had that. He's probably underachieved at Newcastle, whereas Joe Linton has just a year and a half of just it was 2 years. Year and a half
over 2 seasons, isn't it?
So yeah, he's just been. Yeah, frankly, like rarely have I seen him when I've been like I've wanted to see you played well. So I've been, oh yeah, you had some good touches, but rarely have I actually thought he's had an all round good game. Yeah. And now I think he's just been sensational.
And then we went to the Willock goal.
Yeah, where's Fabian Schär going?
He's been watching the Leeds playbook, hasn't
he? Bielsa playbook, isn't it? That
centre half sprinting out and putting the final ball through.
Yeah, it's quality, isn't it? Lovely ball, under pressure as well, and then Willock.
Mm-hmm. He takes his goal really well. For a split second, I thought he'd overhit it slightly because he just go towards the top end of the just under the bar. But yeah, it's great to see him finding his feet because that's 7 goals in a row. I'm sick of people, like every commentator now mentions, Joe Willock hasn't scored and he's got 7 in a row. Like, it's like going to be his defining career moment. He scored 7 and that's why we bought him. But
contrary to the Joe Linton thing, on total opposite, when people were crying for Joe Willock to be out the side, I never wanted Willock to be out the side. I think he's a really good player. I think he's got loads of energy. He's got 2 good feet. Can beat a man. Can win the ball back as well. Like, I think he's like for our level of like where we are as a club, I think he's like perfect midfielder for us. Like, and he's got so much talent.
There was definitely a time where I was calling for him to be dropped, so I'm not going to say I definitely didn't at times, because there was definitely times like, how was he getting a game? Because he did get lost for a couple of months, especially the start of the season. It was just he was being carried a little bit.
Mm.
But he's obviously found new motivation under Howe, and even when he spoke after the West Ham game, he spoke very, and I haven't really seen him speak that. I've seen him
except he's come on the Maggies.
But yeah, he spoke very well, and he spoke of what the clubs wanted to achieve and how they came away disappointed and they're only looking up. So for him to come across and say that as a young player, because he's still only 22, and I sent you across his stats, like he's played 35 games for Newcastle, scored 10 goals.
Yeah, that's unbelievable for a centre midfielder. That's so good,
especially at the level that we've been playing at as well. Like, for him to come across and be speaking like that, it just shows you the culture that's being created from the inside as well.
Yeah, that's it. This is why I didn't buy into we got to be starting Bruno, because when you have Willock, Shelvey and Joe Linton all massively improved, I guess Willock recapturing the end of season form from last season, but Shelvey certainly the best he's played in a Newcastle shirt for seasons.
Yeah,
because Rafa never really massively trusted Shelvey, did he? Like, he never.
He had runs a little bit and like give him like the quarterback role, as he kept getting called, where he just sat and launched long balls, but I'd say that's not much difference to what he does right now. But
he plays that role now, doesn't he? Really, but that's it. That's what he's best at, isn't he? He's moving the ball and distributing the ball. That's what he's best at. But if you're going to have those 3 playing really well, I think I said this on our other pod. Didn't Brighton and Bruno having to start based on the fact that how will be saying we're going to go to the stratosphere of this club? Come be on the journey. Anyone wants to be on the journey? Like, put your socks up, keep us in the league, work hard, be part of it. But then you sign somebody 40 million and say, right, you're at the team because he's coming in. So I didn't buy into that. If they're playing well, which they are playing, those midfield 3 are playing That's where winning games are, I think, from those three. I think they're playing unbelievably well, controlling games, bullying teams like Willock and the legs of Willock and Joe Linton.
Covering Shelvey.
And allowing Shelvey to have like time in the ball, and allowing him to be deep and pick it up where he wants to. So I didn't buy into the fact that he needed to replace one of them with Bruno until it's like.
And I think, sorry to butt in, because it's going to back up one of your points you made on one of the podcasts earlier. I think where it didn't work with Bruce is he'd fall back to 5 at the back, 4 and then 1, and if you played Shelvey in the middle, he hasn't got the legs to be one of only 2 in the centre of the park.
Yeah.
There's so many times we'd sit and watch the game and you just see like players just saunter past him, and like if a player hasn't got speed, he hasn't got speed. There's only so much you can do with that. But like whereas now he's protected either side, and Joe Willock and Joe Linton know like their roles.
Yeah, they're the graft, aren't they?
There's a few people I've heard at work and even in the bar and various conversations, even on Twitter and stuff, where there's people screaming like, "Why is Bruno not playing for?" And the question is like, who would you drop?
Yeah,
Shelvey hasn't put a foot wrong, arguably. No. Joe Willock is working his backside off. Joe Linton's on track for the Ballon d'Or, so well, you can't play 4 centre midfielders. Like,
no.
Steve Bruce might give it a go somehow, but
4 centre halves.
Yeah, bring Bruno in your centre half. Like.
Yeah, that's my point exactly, and I think there's that cultural that culture argument as well. Like, if you want to create the winning culture where you want all these players now, and you're saying to them, "Who wants to be part of this journey?" But then as soon as somebody comes in, you drop them for somebody else. Like, as soon as Bruno comes in, you drop Shelvey and say, "Right, yeah, thanks for everything, mate, but you're on the bench now." Like, at least let Bruno absolutely earn his spot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree. Every Newcastle fan I know cried out for 3 in midfield to complement either. When we played a lot of Longstaff. Sean Connery, didn't I? Yeah. We played a lot of Longstaff and we played a lot of Shelvey. Neither of them have any legs, so it's crying out for the third person to go alongside it to be the graft and to be the legs, and Bruce couldn't ever see it consistently enough. But,
yeah, God, that's mad to think that was actually this season where we had no speed and no centre midfield.
Yeah,
and it's madness, isn't it?
The amount of times the ball would get the byline and get pulled back, and our midfield will be like 4 or 5 yards just off the pace, and then somebody would be tapping it in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was like basically every second week that would happen. It was a classic goal: get in behind, pull it back, and our midfield nowhere to be seen. But now,
like the way to beat Newcastle was just score like honking FIFA goals.
You won them over the goalkeeper 3 years there.
Yeah.
And Shelvey's just behind chasing.
Yeah, in the distance, like.
But I think another thing as well was the changes. Like, I didn't really think Willock had the legs for full on 90 minutes, and I thought, and every time I've watched Newcastle recently, I think, well, you bringing Bruno on off like 65, 70 minutes because Willock's legs will go. Mm-hmm. But like, he's proven now that he can go. Like, he only went off, I think, last on the weekend because he got an elbow at the chops, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that midfielder, Jon Jo and Jon Jo, like what a midfield!
All the J's there, and then second half after the Willock goal, I think Shaw had a free header, didn't he? 5 yards out, and then Ericsson came on. It was quite a nice moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was nice for football and everything, wasn't it? Like, I remember watching that game. We were away on holiday, and I remember we went to the bar and watched that game, and it was the first time we managed to drag Ange to watch a game in the bar with us, and yeah, it was the whole pub went quiet, and it was such a horrible moment. So to see in the space of 8 months for him to come back on, it was just a great moment for Ericsson, his family, and football, and just
yeah, it's nice. It was nice, like, in what was going on across the world. It's nice to have a positive moment. And he also played a couple of absolute pearler passes. Like,
I know that side volley pass,
a through ball, on the half volley through ball, outrageous. What a ball!
Yeah,
first touch is to cut across the ball like that and put it on Tony's feet. I think it was. Yeah, so good. And Bruno came on, didn't he?
Yeah, you got some numbers there, mate. Talk
yeah,
Bruno.
So
by the way, when someone's tweeted or mentioned from Bruno's page, can we talk Bruno now?
Yeah.
That's definitely a managed page, considering he doesn't speak any English.
Well, have you if you watch like his earlier sort of posts, they're all like really like well done with like sort of so the videos where they have like an announcement video. There's like they're all like that all the time. I'm like, there's no danger he's sat at home, sat there on his MacBook trying to put all these videos together for his new Newcastle fans. So it's definitely a managed page. But yeah, I think he was on for like 30 minutes or something like that, and he had 41 touches, 24 passes, 2 out of 3 long balls, 100% of his dribbles, won half his ground duels, won all of his one of one aerial duel, and made 1 clearance. He seemed to be the first 10 minutes he was on the pitch. He seemed to be absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, a lot of the play went through him.
Yeah.
And the one thing because I'll be honest, when we signed him, I didn't know a great deal about him. So like most Newcastle fans probably Googled him, went on YouTube and saw all his best moments.
Highlights reel.
And like, oh, sound like the next Maradona, Gaza, like Pele, like no one can touch him.
Cabela, whatever his name.
Yeah.
When I signed him, I was like, highlights reel. I was like, oh my God, he's amazing.
Yeah. And he looks so he looks like he always has time on the ball.
Yeah.
He always has time. He never looks flustered. Even when people like the opposite team are running at him, he slows them down somehow. Like,
he got close out a couple of times. He just little shimmy. He was away, and then I think for me, it's like just a classic. He wants to. You can tell that he wants the ball. He wants to. He wants to dictate play, so he gives it a move, wants it again. It just proper old school midfielder just wants to have the ball all the time.
That's so refreshing to see in Newcastle, where we have competition for midfield spaces. Where normally it's like, figuring out like who can we put in to try and not get smashed this weekend, or try and have some presence in the park, or do you know what I mean? It was always like, what was the combination for midfield like?
Jeff Hendrick,
like figuring out Hendrick and Longstaff, and hope one of them like. Whereas now it's like,
can you remember he said, I have Jeff Hendrick used to start games. I know what this like his pressure football player that, but that was brutal, wasn't it?
I know. Whereas now we've got like the 3 in the middle, which have definitely stepped the game up since Bruno's there, and obviously Eddie Howe, his coach, has been phenomenal. But it's just nice to have like battle in the centre of the park. It's not where it's long ball, hope Wilson gets it, the centre half misses it and he goes through 1-on-1, or Maxman takes on 7 players from our own box and scores a goal or crosses it to Wilson. Whereas now we can compete in the centre of the park
and dominate. We're dominating centre of the park. So I said it of that like in that my viral tweet the other day, like that we.
Yes, for anyone who doesn't know, Yanis, 80,000 impressions when he
85,000 impressions of my tweet and 1,700 likes. I'll have you know.
Yeah.
But all I said was that was now Villa, Everton, West Ham that were flat against Newcastle, and it was flat because the midfield 3 was making them flat. We were flattened, as it were, by Newcastle. But I agree. It's class to have like the fact that he is going to be awesome.
Yeah,
and he can't even get on the pitch just yet. We're not in desperate need to get him on because like the rest are playing awful.
That's why I think he's wanting the ball though. Like, give me the ball. Let me show you what I can do. So
it's competition for places. It's glorious.
It's absolutely hasn't happened for years.
I know.
Literally hasn't happened for years.
It's so true. It used to be between Manquillo and Kraft.
Yeah, that was it.
Now I'm joking. I love Manquillo. I love Manquillo. But yeah, I thought he came on. He looked so good. Wanted to have the ball all the time. And he just sort of saw the game out, didn't he?
Yeah. One thing I want to bring up and mention is we talk about the transfer window, and a lot of people's been. I tweeted about this. I think I got about 7 likes. So
you got a long way to go, mate.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Glenn _ NUFC. Eddie Howe's, I think he's getting a lot of the credit's getting taken away from him, and we're getting told that we've bought ourselves out of relegation. Yeah. But yes, we spend more than a lot of other clubs, but the way he's transferring players, which we've talked about, Joe Linton, Fraser there as well,
Shelvey, Willock, Fabian Schär.
You can go through pretty much.
Dubravka looks solid again. I'm not worried about Dubravka anymore.
Yeah, you almost go through the full team. But in terms of the players that were bought in, like, fair enough, Trippier came in and had a huge impact.
Yeah.
He's injured, which sounds like it could be best part of the season. Target's on loan.
Mm-hmm.
Bruno's not playing.
Yeah.
40 million. Wood up top, which yes, he's creating that big.
Doing a job, isn't he?
Yeah, doing a job. But for me, Dan Burn, he looks so composed at the back, and we watch all the games, and that first touch he had for he just took the ball down off his chest, and like how when we played West Ham, and he took out was a bone at the corner flag.
His first touch in that first game where he just chested down as easy as every header was perfect.
Yeah,
and I remember thinking, if that's Lascelles, he's like pencil heading it in the air with ultimate panic, like, or he's letting it bounce, or he's like calling for the midfield to be back on his toes again,
trying to hit it on a volley and like just God knows where it's going to end.
Yeah, so composed is the right word. He's so composed. He's composed when he's one-on-one with somebody in terms of defensively.
So what I was going to say is he could end up being the most valuable signing from the January transfer window.
Yeah.
In terms of the midfield's got its shit together now. Trippier's going to be injured.
Mm-hmm.
Woods is having
stopgap, isn't he?
Yeah.
So Wilson's back.
Target's loan, which I would love to see him signed, because we're not going to be able to buy a full starting 11 in the summer if we stay up, or hopefully when we stay up. So I think Target can definitely do a job and improve, especially with Eddie Howe's coaching. Whereas Dan Burn, for what we need right now, in terms of Lascelles not playing and shoring up the defence, he could potentially be the best.
I think he's because Trippier's injured.
Yeah.
Because obviously Trippier was just like, I remember the first couple of games of Trippier, I remember being like, that's what it's like to have a really good player at your club again, like when a proper worldie. I was like, I've forgotten what it was like. I think he was like having like, since watching Kabay play, when I was like, he can play, like he can properly play.
He understands the football.
He can do the football. That's like the last person I've watched being like, being not in awe of them or anything, but being like, we've got a proper player here. But he's injured, so now I think Dan Burn. I don't think you say Dan Burn without saying Matt Target as well, because like that left hand side has become so comfortable and like carefree. In the how many games? 3 games Dan Burn's played for us now.
Yeah,
he's been done once, and that was it Visa sort of ruled him and got away from him in the first half, I think, at Brentford. I think it was Visa, maybe in Burma. I think it was Visa. Sort of in like just inside their own half, he kind of ruled him and got away from him.
I know what you mean. And the only goal we conceded was West Ham at a set piece.
Yeah,
which I can't remember who was marking them, but yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it's night and day. Considering we set a record, which is a record nobody wants in 2021, which was most goals conceded in a calendar year.
Did we?
Yeah, 80 goals, which is horrendous. And then,
whereas this season, defensive-minded coach, he'll show up the back four.
Yeah, well, maybe we should ask West Brom how that's gone. Yeah. Whereas if you look at us now, the stat you sent us before, mate, we were like us Rotherham and Man City.
Yeah, fewest goals conceded in 2023. Yeah, 3 goals. Us and Rotherham are the top defences.
Yes, it just shows you. Yeah, I don't want to get in the.
He's been a massive difference, like
the Bruce bandwagon, because there's enough Newcastle supporters can get on that. And
I've been driving it for. I've been driving the Bruce bandwagon, mate.
Yeah, you've been selling the tickets for years.
Absolutely, mate.
Yeah, but yeah, I think Newcastle supporters, we're sick of getting the stick off people who weren't Newcastle supporters saying leave Bruce alone, and almost he collects the Bruce bandwagon people by as he goes on club by club, showing them like
he does.
Yeah,
Villa fans and like.
As of today, what the date is 1st of March. We're recording this. He is the only manager in professional football with a 0% win ratio,
which is mad because he's managed
2 clubs,
and got an £8 million payout.
He's got the best agent in. I'm saying I don't get in the Bruce bandwagon, but I'm shouting from the rooftop here. But you see his interview after West Brom, after the game last night against Swansea where they got beat 2-0.
Did he see her dust himself off?
He didn't use that classic, but he mentioned that they'd had problems with the football.
I know, I did see that quote. Yeah, the football was a big problem for us.
Yeah, we had problems with the football. And in the Premiership, I mean the Championship, we're like, oh no. Like,
yeah, he's like, I want to be talking the Premier League. I mean, Championship, yeah. Aye, that was...
Yeah. But you had problems with the football.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a football team and you've got problems with the football, you got problems.
Yeah.
But I think Dan Burn and Matt Targett collectively are like massive for that defensive change. Like.
Yeah, huge. Should we look ahead to the fixtures? We've got a busy schedule here, mate. We've got 15 games, 15 days.
15 games in 15 days?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Back to back. We've got Brighton on the 5th of March, Southampton on the 10th, Chelsea 13th, Everton 17th, and then Palace on the 20th. So, busy schedule. By the end of this game run, hopefully we're safe.
Yeah.
But I think this is when you're going to see a bit more rotation coming from Eddie, because he's going to have to rest some players. You're going to see Bruno slot in. It does worry me a little bit at the back, because I don't think we've got the players just to rotate in and out.
Mankey will be back, and I think if Kraft is actually looking solid defensively. I think
he's looking better. He's still does worry me a little bit.
He's probably the
but he's better. Yes,
he's still a cause for concern, I think, and he's probably what I worry about in the back five, including the Bravka at the minute. But offensively going forward, you see a lot of people like seem to be barking him. I think Bruno was trying to push him wide and telling him where to go after giving the ball. Yeah. Willock was digging him a few times to play the ball into him rather than try and put it across the air. I just think he's although he's improved and he's more solid offensively, he's maybe not as good, but certainly Mankey will be back and he can play right back or left back.
Yeah.
I try as much as I can to stick with Dan Burn playing as much as possible. I think he brings a calming influence, and it's helping Shaw as well. And they're both that kind of player. They both want to step out with the ball. They're both comfortable passing the ball out.
I think with centre halves and they're positions where you can sort of play 2 games a week, because it does involve not as much running as the full backs, obviously midfield. Yeah. So hopefully the centre back partnership, as long as they don't get hammered any of the games, they should be able to see us through that whole period.
Certainly, I think you'd expect to see more of Bruno. And the thing is, because of how Willock and Joelinton play in the midfield, like those two kind of combative, energetic number 8s, realistically, the only person Bruno's replacing is Shelby, really. Mm-hmm. You'd probably say that you'd try and maybe give Longstaff one of those other 2 roles and try and get him to
It's almost like, do you look at them fixtures there and say, look, Brighton, Southampton, we can go back to back. Chelsea, maybe, I hate to say it, but admit defeat at that one, then it gives us a chance to go Everton Palace again. It gives us 4 winnable games from 5.
So you've got what, 5 days between Brighton and Southampton.
Yeah, so you can play the same team there. Yeah. Chelsea.
Yeah, put your kids out for that.
Yeah.
Put your kids plus the cells. Yeah. Give them the armband back.
And then Everton, because Thursday, Sunday games they're naughty, them, aren't they?
We're playing that in 2 seasons' time, mate, when we're in Europe.
Well, when we've got a squad of 25 absolute world beaters, it's okay.
But there's an argument to say that I doubt how would gear them up that way. I think you'd try and get everything out of them, but it's just an unfortunate. He was talking about it. He basically said he was a bit shocked when he saw I don't know if you saw his pre-match press conference, but he was asked about the 4 games in 10 days, whatever it is coming up, and he said I was quite surprised that but it is what it is. We'll have to deal with it. This problem is, this is where we do still have a paper thin squad.
Yeah,
adding those heads is great, but Wilson going out, so we haven't really added any extra heads there. Trippier going out. You've only really added Burn, Target, and Bruno, and so
that's it. We always had a competitive starting 11 to a certain extent. We've added 4 or 5 players to the squad. So then you take away 3 or 4 injuries. So it's still the same number of players that were.
Yeah, exactly. Well, ESM's he'll come back in. Mankiw, obviously, he looks like he'll be fit again because he trained last week. Because I thought he was going to be fit for this game. ESM will come back in. you would imagine, which means you've got rotation. You could play Murphy right back. McHugh could play left back if you want to rest Target in one of the games. So there is license for a bit of management. You'd like to think that Brighton are in a bit of a slump. What, no winning like 8 or something like that, is it?
Well, let's talk Brighton again. We'll cover all the other games a bit more detail next week's pod. So Brighton, what?
That's at St James's, right?
Right, yeah. So I'd expect us to beat Brighton.
I haven't said that for like since the championship.
Yeah, it's been a long while since we've gone in confident. Even like to last week, but I feel like this is the first time. This might be the curse here, but this is the first time I actually feel confident now. Yeah. Where I feel like we've got a good team together. Where I walk into a game week thinking we should beat these or we can beat these.
Yeah.
And even like the Norwich, the Watford, which we didn't beat, we drew with them. But pretty much any game, it's like toss a coin, what could happen here?
Yeah.
Whereas I think with Brighton, we've got the fact that we've taken Dan Burn off them.
Yeah,
we've shored up at the back, they haven't. Our midfield seems competitive. And up top, we just, as much as we don't still have that goal score, we seem to find ways to score goals at the moment.
I just think it's how we go about games now. We historically, over the last few years, had always struggled against teams that like to keep the ball.
Yeah.
Historically. And even like if you look back at games as sort of Swansea, they used to like sort of play us off the park. Like,
but then we used to give them the ball. Like,
exactly. So
happily have them. Like Rafa wasn't too well at the ball. Bruce has problems with the football. So it's been years since we've had a manager that actually likes to play with the football. And it sounds daft, but like to score goals, you need the football.
Yeah. I'm not going to have anything bad to say about Rafa, but I'm still I think.
Yeah, mate.
No, but I do agree with you. He was happy to sit deep and be compact and play on the break and win games certain ways and stuff. And he was absolutely brilliant at Newcastle. But yeah, we really struggled in it for quite a few years against the teams that really, really want to just move you around and have the ball. Whereas now it's different because we're high up the pitch, we press onto people, we've got a combative midfield, we're energetic, we look way fitter. Well,
that's because we train. But with the press though, the last 2 games, you probably know what I want to say here.
It's better without ASM.
Yeah.
It is better without ASM. Yeah, it is.
Does St Maximin mean that he's maybe better coming on?
Nah, he plays for me. Yeah, absolutely. If he's fit, he plays for me.
But the press doesn't work as effectively with him. He doesn't track back. Is he the guy you bring on at 60 minutes when the team's starting to get tired?
Nah.
Do you know what Southgate used to do with Grealish?
I hate him for it.
He did all right.
Well, if he made changes and work in the bloody final, he might have won it. Nah, not for me. I think Jacob Murphy's solid. He tucks in, he works really hard. He's decent at the ball. He's got decent strike in him. He's not a bad cross to the ball. I think Jacob Murphy's a really good squad player.
Mm-hmm.
But if you coach and develop and instruct and really hone in on what ASM has, he can be like unbelievable.
But St Maximin's got 50,000 Geordies every week screaming, track back, or press. Like, everyone can see the press working. Like, you can see Wood pushing forward and looking over his shoulder to see where the ball's going to go. And like Maximin's like on the half.
He's got to drill that into him. Christ almighty, Salah presses, De Bruyne presses, Ronaldo Ronaldo doesn't press.
Yeah, well, when
Bruno presses, no, he doesn't press.
Right.
No, Bruno, he presses. But yeah, so I'd maybe like, nah, enough for me. I think you got to start him.
Okay.
Maverick game match winner. But I'll ask you the question. You're Graham Potter. Who do you rather see? Jacob Murphy because he's going to close down Veltman every so often, and Lamptey. Or would you rather see?
But overall, yeah, you're right. I understand where you come from. Football is a team game, so to make it work, like if you play in the press, you can't play him to maximum.
Well, you can, just you have to.
He only fancies it. Like when he presses, because he's rapid. He's absolutely rapid. So when he wants to, we've seen him close down defenders before, but when he wants to, there's just times where it's like, come on, run.
I know, yeah. Well, actually, if I have a frustration with St Maximum, it's not the press, I think as this team develops, he will need to do that to stay within the side, because eventually the team will pass him by, because we'll buy players that can do what he can do.
Yeah.
But we'll also press. My biggest frustration with St. Maximin is the running in behind. He wants it to feet all the time, which I get because he's got absolute magic feet.
Yeah.
But I wish he'd just run in behind sometimes. He's got so much pace. Just look at Son, and he scores all those goals just running in behind. Just running behind now and then. The amount of times we break forward and someone is kind of getting towards a back four, and you think, go on, and there's your channel getting behind. Jimmy Vardy scored goal after goal after goal, just literally off a shoulder of somebody.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what he has to be, but at some point mix the game up, get him behind sometimes. He's so quick. That'll be a bigger gripe than the press for me.
It's Brighton predictions, mate.
I think we will win. Yeah, I think we'll win.
Yeah.
I think they're on a bit of a slump. They're not playing particularly well. Confidence probably low. Did you hear what Graham Potter said the other day?
Go on.
He said his post match talk on the weekend. He said we dust ourselves off and we go again.
Oh.
And I was like, oh no.
Yeah, he's been networking with Steve Bruce, hasn't he?
He's been on a blow on a Brucey. Yeah. I think we'll win. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm confident. I'm dancing between 2-1 and 2-0. Brighton struggle to score goals a lot of times, so I'm tempted towards 2-0. 2-0 Newcastle. Yeah,
I think. No, I don't think it's comfortable. By the way, I think it won't be a comfortable game, but I think maybe 2-1 Newcastle.
Okay, cool. Well, NUFC talk. There you go. First episode, and if you want to hear more Premier League talk from us, we did the Dad FC Football podcast as well.
Yeah.
If you want to get us on Twitter, Yanis, the viral Twitterer, 85,000 impressions.
Yeah, 500 followers. I'm Yanis NUFC.
Yeah, and I'm Glenn _NUFC as well. We're going to get all the Twitter and Facebook pages set up to follow this as well on YouTube and on Facebook as well. So we shall see you very soon. And
catch you next time.
Yeah.